Hey guys, it's Sekaar, and I've got another MagDK build for you guys for the Firesong chapter. This has been my absolute favorite MagDK build that I've come across this patch. I feel like the damage on this, the tankiness, the healing, it is all absolutely so high. And this is without a doubt the most fun build that I've come across for this. I've been playing this for the last, I can't even tell you how many days straight. So I hope that you guys enjoy. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. We're almost at 3,800 subs, and every single one counts. We're almost at that 4K mark, so thank you so much. Also, one last announcement. We did start our top 5 PvP Fights of the Week series on this channel, so if you want to, go check it out. It has been an absolute pleasure to do episode 1, and we are currently in production of episode 2. So if you want to send any of your clips, all you got to do is send your best PvP fights to sekaartop5@gmail.com. All right, guys, without further ado, let's get on with the build. All right, guys, let's get started. First things first, we're going to look at our character sheet. We are definitely going to want to be a Breton on our Dragon Knight. I think that Breton is the best race as far as DKs go for mag because of the reduced magic cost and also the magic recovery. I think both of those passives alone make it really worth it. If you also have Imperial, that could work too, but I really recommend using Breton for the sustain. As far as our attributes go, we're going to break it down with 50 points into magic and then 14 points into health to give us a max magic pool of 24.5k, a max health pool of 30.7k, and a max stam pool of 16.5k. I think that's all pretty balanced, and I really don't feel like I'm running out of one resource over the other. Our Mundus is going to be the warrior to increase our weapon damage. And we're going to be using Orzorga's Smoked Bear Haunch to increase our max health by 4,300 and our stamina and magic recovery by 369 for 2 hours. If you cannot afford Orzorga's, as I always say, just use the Jewels of Misrule food. It is this food right here. I can compare the two for you real quick. As you can see, it is a lot cheaper, and the max health that you get is 3,900, and the stamina and magic recovery is 357. So you really only lose a little bit of stats, and the difference in price is highly significant. And then, as always, we're going to be Vampire Stage 3 to increase our tankiness, the lower health we are. That Undeath passive really helps so much, and I definitely recommend it. As far as our gear goes, our monster set is going to be Bloodspawn because Bloodspawn is phenomenal on Dragon Knight. We're going to be getting a heavy helmet in the reinforced trait and a medium shoulder in the impenetrable trait. What Bloodspawn does is, I feel like everybody should know this at this point, but the one piece is stamina recovery, and the two piece is when you take damage, you have a 6% chance to generate 13 ultimate, and then increase your physical and spell resistance by 3,700 for 5 seconds. So this is really good for your sustain and your tankiness, because Dragon Knights are really built around their ultimate gain because of how many resources you can get back from using your ultimate. So that's why I really like using Bloodspawn on this. It really keeps us tanky as well. As far as our chest piece goes, this is going to be Mara's Bomb in the reinforced trait. We're going to be using this to really increase our tankiness so much, and this is going to be our backbar set. So this is going to increase our armor, our crit resist, healing taken, and when a negative effect is removed from you, you restore a 2,211 health, and it can occur once every 1 second. And then when you take damage and have 6 or more negative effects on you, you also restore that same amount of health, and then you also remove all negative effects as well. So that is massive. The amount of tankiness that you get from this is so nice, and the heal that you get from this is absolutely bonkers. And this set is so overpowered when it comes to being tanky. I have absolutely fallen in love with it so much. Then our legs are also going to be reinforced Mara's Bomb in heavy as well. And then the rest of our body pieces are all going to be Light Danger Trickery in Impen. This is going to be our front bar set. The 2-piece is max health, 3-piece max stam, 4-piece max magic, and the 5-piece is when you deal damage, you gain 1 of 5 random major buffs for 21 seconds. Every 9 seconds this can occur. So the buffs can be either Expedition, Protection, Mending, Heroism, or Vitality. So that's going to either buff your speed, your tankiness, your healing, or your ultimate gain. So this is amazing for your front bar set. It is basically just you're going pure defensive on this, and the amount of damage you can still output because you have corrosive is actually so insane. So please don't be like, hey Sekaar, these are two tank sets, why are you not doing damage? No, I'm doing plenty of damage on this build. It's actually kind of cracked. Going to corrosive is just free damage for life. I love it so much. So we are going to break our Deja Trickery pieces down with a light hands, light waist, and light feet. And as you can see, all of our body pieces are going to have the prismatic enchantment on them. That way we can increase our max magic, max health, and max stam as much as possible. The way our jewelry is going to break down is our necklace is going to be a necklace of the trainee. That way we can increase our health as much as possible. We have one extra slot on this build, so that trainee increases our health by 1,400. And we're going to keep it in the bloodthirsty trait and have, as we can see on all of our jewelry pieces, we're going to have all of them in the bloodthirsty trait. And all of them are also going to be reduced health, magic, and stamina glyphs on this. That way we can really help our sustain as much as possible. We're going to be using a Markin ring. That way we can have this as our mythic to have our weapon damage as high as possible and also increase our armor as well. Then our other ring is going to be Mara's Bomb in the Bloodthirsty trait as well. Our weapons are going to be on our front bar, dual-wield maces of Deja Trickery. Our main hand is going to be shock damage glyph in the Nirnhone trait. And our offhand is going to be disease damage glyph in the charge trait. And then we're going to want to use maces. That way we increase our pen. That way when we're not in corrosive, we're still doing damage. And then we're going to be using a Mara's Bomb Ice Staff in the defending trait as our back bar set, or weapon. And then onto our skills. Our main damage ability is going to be Molten Whip. This is going to be hitting the hardest out of all of our abilities. You're going to want to get that 3-stack Seething Fury to hit as hard as possible because each stack is going to increase your damage by 100, and it is honestly so really reliable, and the more damage you have, it is just so necessary. So as you can see here, why is it like that? So as you can see here, if we get the 3-stack, 1, 2, 3, our weapon damage is increased to 4,737, and our Molten Whip tooltip is 14,356. And honestly, that is so much right there. The amount of damage that you can get when you're in corrosive on this is absolutely bonkers. I love it so much. So definitely use this as your main damage ability, but also make sure that you get your 3-stack on that. That way you are hitting as hard as possible. Shattering Rocks is going to be your main CC on this build. I love it so much, and the heal that you get back from it really helps you just go offensive. That way you don't need to heal too often. It is really nice to be able to control the fight and be able to CC an enemy whenever you want. Flames of Oblivion, I like this as far as the damage on it. It's really high and it's really consistent. And you also gain Major Prophecy and Savagery, increasing your weapon and spell crit by 2,629. So it really helps your critting, and it's also really good damage, and it's also one of your abilities that helps proc your Molten Whip stacks. And then Burning Talons, this is another form of CC. That way you alternate between Burning Talons to keep them in place, and then Shattering Rocks to CC them at that spot. It is honestly so phenomenal to combo the two, and the damage on Burning Talons is nothing to be slept on as well. It is really nice to be able to use this, and that dot afterwards is actually pretty heavy too. And then Noxious Breath, this is going to want to be what you're going to want to start your fights off with when you're damaging your abilities. Using this is going to put Major Breach on your enemy, reducing your physical and spell resistance by 6k, but also the upfront damage on this is really nice. It only says 5,600, but it does a lot more when you're in the middle of a fight, when you're buffed up, and also it's an AoE, so it's hitting multiple targets at once. I really like this. And then Ferocious Leap. I don't really use this ability too often, but every now and then I find myself using it. Mostly I use Corrosive, but honestly, it is really nice to just be able to leap people. It's fun, and it's just a really good way to secure a kill if you see somebody at low health and you want to hit them with the Leap Whip combo. And then on our back bar, we're going to be using Igneous Weapons as our form of Major Brutality and Sorcery, increasing our weapon and spell damage by 20%. This is just such a long buff that it's nice to be able to activate this and then not really need to use this for another 1.2 minutes. It's just another skill that you don't need to use after you activate it for a long time, and you kind of just forget about it, and you can start to use a lot of other skills. And then Race Against Time, this is going to be your source of your snare removal and your immobilization immunity. That way you are just getting out of your situations fast. You also get Major Expedition and Minor Force. It's going to increase your movement speed by 30% and your critical damage by 10%. Resolving Vigor, this is going to be your main heal over time, healing you for 5 seconds. And then on top of that, you're also getting Minor Resolve, increasing your physical and spell resistance by 3k for 20 seconds. Coag, this is going to be your main burst heal when you're taking too much damage and Resolving Vigor is not healing you enough. Basically, you're going to want to use this when you're at about 60 to 60% in lower health. That way, you can really stay to full health as much as possible. And Volatile Armor, this is going to be your last skill on this. This is going to be your source of Major Resolve, increasing your physical and spell resistance by 6k for 20 seconds. And then also it puts a little bit of a dot on your enemies too, so don't sleep on that. Every little bit of damage helps, especially when you're in Corrosive. And then the ability of the hour, or ultimate on our back bar, my favorite ultimate ever, Corrosive. It is so much damage that you do in here, and it is beautiful to see. It limits your incoming damage to 3% of your max health, so you are very tanky. And then you're also dealing poison damage to nearby enemies for 12 seconds. And on top of that, you're ignoring your enemy's physical and spell resistance. So you are hitting like an absolute truck on this build. To be able to hit all of your dots on them, it is absolutely so phenomenal. Hitting a 3-stack whip on somebody that is CC'd while you're in Corrosive is just absolute chef's kiss. It's beautiful. Mwah. I love it so much. And then finally, our champion points. Our blue slottables are going to be Master at Arms, Deadly Aim, Wrathful Strikes, and Focus Mending. I took out the defensive CP because I felt like Mara's Bomb was so strong that we could just put another damage CP into our blue ones. Our red slottables are going to be Pain's Refuge, Survival Instincts, Sustained by Suffering, and Celerity. And our green tree, the only things that we really care about are Breakfall, Rationer, and Liquid Efficiency. Alright guys, that is the entire build. I really hope that you guys enjoyed. I have been absolutely loving this build so much. It's been so much fun. I really recommend it, so I hope that you guys enjoy it too. If you guys aren't, please subscribe to the channel. It is free to do so, and it helps me out so much. We are just about to hit 3,800 subs, and we're almost at that 4K mark, so with every person subbing, we get a little bit closer. So thank you guys so much. Also, one last announcement. We did release episode 1 of our top 5 PvP fights of the week. So if you want to enter, all you need to do is email me your best 1vx or 2vx or any kind of PvP clip at sekaartop5@gmail.com. The link will be in the description. Come check it out. Let me know what you think of it. I'm really excited to bring this series back. I really hope that you guys enjoy. But that's it from me. I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I will see you guys on the next video. Later.